It's persistence. You get knocked flat on the floor. You're told no. You're told you can't do it. It can't be done. And you do it anyway. Nobody can stress you out. It is not somebody giving you the stress. It is your reaction to it. You are in control. Why is it that some people pull the blinds and turn their backs and other people reach out a helping hand? Why? Everybody in this room is a leader. Some of us have positions of authority. Others of us lead by example and role modeling, the most powerful form of leadership. Not only does that bring inner peace to us and a sense of fulfillment and being where we know we're supposed to be, but when we are balanced, when we reach out and change our lives so that we have that wonderful sense of balance, we are serving others, because balanced people are fun, they are knowledgeable, they are healthy, all the good things that human beings should be. My father is Modoc Indian, and my mother is German, which is why I look Italian. I don't know. It's just how the genes work. But isn't that what America's all about anyway? Very early on, I realized that Cheewa, which means beginning of a basket, was not what I considered the most desirable of all names. I mean, why couldn't they have named me Running Deer or Laughing Brook? I don't know, beginning of a basket. And then when I was very young, my mother took me to see a basket weaver. You know, the Modocs were great basket makers. And there I saw her work. And I came to realize at the beginning, if it's symmetrical and strong and tightly woven, the sides rise up like they should. And that is when I realized that all of life is made up of new beginnings. It offers opportunities to start anew, to change, to grow, and it all has to do with those new beginnings. There's an old Indian saying, and it says if the horse you are riding drops dead, it's a good time to dismount. To change, to seek more productive, more effective ways of dealing with both your professional life and your personal life. It's hard sometimes to deal with change, because change is it's like pit bulls on the brain trying to pull them off. But change starts to happen if you establish a new habit and then practice it. And then it begins to happen. It begins to move. You begin to feel it. And you know that change is in the air and that it can happen. A friend of mine taught school in an Indian reservation in Arizona, a Hopi school. The Hopi culture is an ancient, ancient one. And that culture is built on the concept of cooperation, of people working together. And it was a matter in their early days of survival, this element of cooperation, working together. Well, my friend made the decision when he came into this Hopi school to start a basketball team. And so he took all these young boys and he brought them together and they began to play ball. And he told me, he said, Cheewa, you should have seen these kids. I mean, they dribble, they shoot behind their back, they pass to their legs. They were flat phenomenal. They did things on the floor in terms of teamwork I never even knew existed. The problem was, nobody ever shot the ball. I said to them, I yelled at them, I said, be a hero. Think Superman, Spider-Man. But he said it just didn't work. They were so into this concept of teamwork and cooperation that nobody could step out and shoot the ball. It took a long time and a lot of practice for those kids before one of them finally shot the ball and they began to get the picture of what the game of basketball is all about. One day I was out on a drive in the Sierra foothills and I stumbled on a new Indian shop. Watch out, here comes Cheewa. So I went in, she had wonderful jewelry, on display, and I got to talking with her. She was a Paiute. The proprietor was, the owner. We got to talking about jewelry, and I told her about the single most beautiful piece of jewelry, not only that I'd ever seen, but my good fortune was I actually, it was mine. And before me, it was my mother's. It was a Navajo silver concho belt that went around her waist. And as a child, I used to put my arms around her waist, and I could feel the warmth coming through those silver platelets. That belt meant a lot to me. And when my mother passed to the arc of life to the other side, she left the belt to me. It was a tremendous gift. That belt was my mother. It's all I really had left that reminded me of her. And as I was talking to the woman in the jewelry shop, I told her, I said, the tragedy is somebody stole that belt. They stole my mother. And I grieved. I mean, I seriously grieved. And I said, a part of me is still grieving. She looked at me and she said, Cheewa, don't ever cry over something that can't cry over you. Don't ever cry over something that can't cry over you. You see, that belt wasn't my mother. My mother is standing here in front of all of you. All of the talents I have, all of the wisdoms, all that I am today. This is my mother, not that belt. We who are clay, molded by the master potter, come from the kiln of creation in many hues. What does it matter if one pot is pale and the other is dark, if both are of good design and serve their function well? I have a little Tanner and a little Taylor, my little grandchildren, and I have taught them, when they come in the door, to look at me and they go, Nana! I look at them and I go, Tanner, Taylor. We're a very dramatic family, And they run over and they jump into my arms. I throw them up in the air. The feelings that I have inside me of unconditional love are overwhelming. And they remind me on a daily basis that I need to extend those feelings to others. A feeling of non-judgment, of unconditional acceptance, of learning and understanding about others. The eagle personifies the East. It's interesting with eagles, which is a great Indian symbol. Everybody likes eagles. They wear them around their neck. They have great big old honker eagles sitting on their coffee tables, They love eagles. And the eagle flies high. It's the highest flying, one of the highest flying of all our birds. Eagles do not fly in flocks. There's times they have to fly alone, as leaders do. But an eagle, when the eagle is high, has the ability to look down and see how all things are interconnected and make no decision until there is an understanding of how those things are all interconnected. But the eagle's not all. There's another animal that symbolizes leadership, and it's the mouse. I gotta tell you, nobody runs around with mice around their necks. Nobody has little mice sitting around on their coffee tables. But let me tell you how important the mouse is. The mouse symbolizes the ability to concentrate on detail. The little mouse with its nose to the ground with the seeds and the grains that it collects. A good leader is visionary. A great leader is that person who can attach details and plans to that which will emerge.